Hi, I'm Janet McLeod, and welcome to the Chez Lez Fleur podcast. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. And if you're a repeat and returning visitor, we're glad to have you back. And today I have the pleasure of chatting with Samantha Crowley, and she is real estate extraordinaire. And she's going to talk to us about all the things that are happening in buying real estate and homes and all those big thinking purchases that people make and all the fun it is to have a new house. So welcome, Samantha. I'm glad to have you here. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. Um, got a few questions for you. So how did you get into real estate?
Well, I was actually in the hospitality industry before starting in real estate about 7 years ago, and decided I needed a change. I wanted the kind of independence of my own schedule and not answering to a boss, if you will. So I've always had a passion for real estate. I think it's one of those things that everyone has an interest in to some level because we all have homes of some sort, right? And I like interior design as well, so it kind of just felt like a good match, and off I ran with that in mind. So
Well, and I think the appeal of real estate is it's so tangible.
yes,
Like how many times have you been out with a friend and you drive by someplace and they go, I would love to own that house. Or I've always wanted to know what the inside of that looks like. Or, oh, they're putting in a pool.
yes,
And
yeah.
it's like it's right in front of you. It's so easy to see and and be curious about.
Absolutely. There's so much curiosity.
Okay, so you said you were in hospitality. What did you tell me about that?
So my family owned and operated a restaurant here in Peterborough called Ricky's All Day Grill for about 13 years. So I was there full time running that alongside my mom and some other family members. And there's a lot of, I would say, transferable skills from hospitality to real estate. So the transition was pretty easy, I would say.
Like slipping on an old slipper, eh?
So true.
Um, so real estate is busy. Real
It is.
estate doesn't always happen when you want it to happen. How do you manage all of that? Like you don't just show you just don't show property strictly between 9 and 5.
No, most property gets shown outside of Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, really. So I would say, I mean, it's I put systems in place. I put processes in place which help keep me organized during the busy times. And the biggest thing I would say is making sure that I kind of dedicate and prioritize downtime, because with real estate operating kind of at all hours of the day and typically on schedules that are accommodating people who do work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. You can kind of get lost in the shuffle of not setting aside setting aside time for yourself. So I definitely prioritize that. And I'm fortunate that my boyfriend's also in the business. So we're able to lean on each other, him help me with things and vice versa. And it helps both of us, and it works out to the benefit of us both in our business lives and in our family lives.
Well, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's even with 9 to 5, it's hard to keep everything in perspective. So yeah, good on you. Good on you. Um, so that's, I was going to talk to you about challenges with business and family time, but I think you've answered that very well. And I suspect because your family has also been in hospitality and customer service that they get it.
They do get it for the most part. For the most part.
Isn't that true? Isn't that true? Recently in Peterborough, we've lost the publication Peterborough This Week, and I know that it was a very great partnership with the real estate community for getting listings out and getting, you know, a sort of one-stop shopping for seeing what's on the market, what's still on the market, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about that.
Yeah, so I feel for all the people who lost their jobs in that shutdown. I mean, you never like to see that, especially in a small town, in a community like ours where it's so close knit. It's, all of us know somebody who was affected by it. So that part is unfortunate for sure. I do think though it's kind of a sign of changing times, and I think that our advertising will weather that change, and I feel confident that there'll be something new and dynamic that'll be on the horizon and here before we know it, and I'm excited for what that looks like, and we'll definitely be on board to support that and whatever it is.
Yeah, it was just such a go-to, and like you say, we know everybody knows somebody that was affected, and you know it. It's sad to see it go. Yes.
So sad. Yeah.
How is the market in Peterborough when
Mark,
you're?
yeah, the market's good. I mean, it's very different than what we are used to over the last few years, but prices are becoming more manageable. And one of the great things that comes from that is, new home buyers or first-time home buyers are getting different opportunities to get into the market. And that's always really exciting to see.
Yeah, and as much as we hear about housing shortages, there do seem to be some a lot of new builds
Yes.
happening in town, and that's exciting to see too, because from what I can see, there's a variety of house shapes and sizes.
Yes. Yes. We're getting hopefully a little bit out of that cookie cutter thing, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Um, so you've been in the real estate business for how long now?
7 years.
7 years. Did that go fast?
So fast. So fast. But it's exciting. Every day is different, and it's I'm grateful for all of my clients, and every single one of them is different, but you're helping people with the biggest purchase typically of their life. And most people, I would say 99% of people, are happy that they're doing whatever they're doing, right? The move is exciting, and it's change that people look forward to. So you're dealing with happiness, which is an amazing thing to have in your day every day.
Well, it is. And I talk when I have friends of mine that are maybe buying their first home, and they say, "Oh my goodness, I don't know if I'll be able to afford, what if I can't afford the mortgage?" And I always say to them, it's not the mortgage. It's the snow shovel. It's the lawnmower. It's the tree branch that falls down that you got to bring somebody in to cut down. It's the mortgage. The mortgage is easy.
It's so true.
Yeah.
So true. Yeah. Yeah, my best advice to people is, if you're going out shopping, get pre-approved and know what you're working with, and ask questions of the other people in your life who have owned homes for whether it be a year or 50 years, and what that looked like for them, what was their heat bill, what was their water bill, and get those hard facts that you can, those tangible things that you can work with so that you can set yourself up for success.
So suppose somebody doesn't do that and you sense that they're maybe reaching too far. What's your advice to them with that?
So I'm quite transparent with that kind of stuff, and I always kind of reduce it to something that means something to them. So I always say, if you feel like you're kind of stretching that comfort zone too far, make sure that you're not going to be giving up that thing that's your thing that keeps you going every week. And whether that's a glass of wine, or going to the movies, or stopping at Starbucks, or eating out at a local restaurant, if those things are not in the budget because of the house you're buying, you'll start to resent the place that you're living, and that's not fun. So
No.
yeah.
Yeah, and you're right. Those, everything that you just named is a little thing. As much as people joke about expensive coffee, it's inexpensive compared to a lot of things you can spend money on.
So true.
But like if you've had a challenging day and you stop for that hot coffee, and it's just like, oh yeah, that was it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Or a bouquet of
that's,
flowers. That's another
yeah,
one.
yeah. But you don't want to see people giving up that because they've reached too far.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And mortgage agents, I always find people get scared, right? They're like, I don't want to call the mortgage agent because, I got to tell them all these details. And in general, people don't like talking about money. But I always say it's better to have the facts on the table, right? So if you're go out and get the facts about the mortgage and what you can afford before you go shopping for something, and fall in love with a house that's out of your reach completely, right? And the mortgage agents will have tips and tricks as well for the things that you can do to prepare yourself for getting ready to buy. So, the things not to do if you're getting ready to buy a house, or, how to clean up the financial position so that you can be ready in 6 months or a year. And they're great allies to have.
Yeah, I think, in this situation, you're right. More is better than guessing, and it is a big purchase, and it'll probably lead to another purchase and another and another, as you grow or downsize or change, whatever your circumstances are.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're able to find something for everyone.
Yes, absolutely.
We like to finish our podcast with 5 questions that you answer in 10 seconds.
All
Are you
right.
up for the challenge?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. So, 2-story or split level?
2-story.
Coffee or tea?
Both.
Yeah, it's like choosing a child, eh?
It's so true.
A child. Snow skiing or water skiing?
Water skiing.
Leafs or Raptors?
Leafs.
Cineplex or Netflix?
Netflix.
Oh, that's great. I really appreciate you taking the time to be with us. I appreciate hearing I love real estate too. It's like I say, it's so tangible. It's so in front of you, and you're a great agent, and I know you're making a lot of people happy, and that's so good. And you got a challenging job, but you've got a satisfying job too. And I think that's really suiting you well. So
Well, thank you. And thank you for your kind words. And thank you for having me. It's been fun.
it is fun. And thank you. Next week, next week we're going to have on our show Hope Birch, and she has an equestrian business, but she also has a novel take on consignment equestrian equipment. So she's quite a gal. And if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. If you're joining us again after seeing other podcasts with us, we welcome you back. We look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you very much, Samantha, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye.